Okay, so after God knows how many months I delayed this, it's finally time to talk about Fight for the Fallen AEW before their big event, All Out, the second official major pay per view event, because this event was streamed for free. And basically, okay, here's the thing. Like I think I said this in the Firefest. I think AEW is trying to be an amalgamation promotion where they basically filter out all the crappy stuff about certain wrestling promotions, WCW, and try to put all the positive aspects of all the wrestling businesses from the past and the present, and probably some in the future, where the talent writing their own storylines and characters. That's clearly ECW OG style, and I still can't believe I have to say that. Then you got the big money backing, which is clearly WWE with the cons, though of course there's also WCW with Ted Turner. And then you got WCW style of big contracts and all this, but whereas AEW has a process where they're promising these big time promises of company wide insurance and company wide travel protection. Where like Bailey had reportedly said in an interview that she and all the other talent drive themselves, much to the interviewer's shock, because they were like, wait, but wouldn't it make sense if you all, drove your got travel payments or were given like you're paying for it? Like, wouldn't it make sense if the company that has a big fuck ton of money like pay for your travel so you can rest your body up for the next show? Wouldn't that make sense? And Bailey, because she can't answer that question without having a gun pointed to her head, simply did not answer that question as far as I know. Or at the very least, she couldn't. She would wish she could answer it, or else they will pull the trigger on her. But yeah, and that's ironic coming from me from this, because Fight for the Fallen is a charity event promoting the fight against gun violence and helping victims of gun violence. So, yeah, this was a very charity-based event. This was raising money. They raised $150,000 for this event at the end of the night, so props to them. Uh, it's just the show got a black eye to it, not from itself. I'm like, there were some problems. Gasp! A fan who loves AEW but clearly will admit there's a problem. There's some problems with it. Blasphemous! Yeah, even for the best promotions you got, there are flaws. Like, even New Japan Pro Wrestling has flaws. Everyone wanted Tetsuya Naito to win and get the victory he deserves at Wrestle Kingdom after reinventing himself for several years. But, Jito knows best, right? And even Jito's starting to lose popularity with fans, despite the roster it has. But that's beside the point. One of the things that AEW got for this event that was a black eye was WWE's response to this. Yeah, shocking. WWE decides to be petty and respond to this. Oh, who saw that coming? So what happened was AEW wanted to do this event. They had announced this months in the making. They announced it during their first press conference when they first announced the company and all that. But even with this huge advancement, WWE was like, okay, we need to counteract this rise in power. We need to get rid of it. Okay, we need an event to counter program Fight for the Fallen. Okay, what do we need? We can't do a show so soon. We have a pay-per-view event. NXT can't do their schedule because Vince hates them. What can we do? What can we do to counteract the rise of our enemies? The rise of traitors, damn it. Hey, Vince, I got this call from Evolve. Their 10th anniversary is coming up. Do you want to go ahead and stream it on the network? I got it! We use Evolve! That had to have been what went on in that meeting. Because that's what happened. Vince decided, with a clear conscience, to book this 10th anniversary show of Evolve on the same timing as Fight for the Fallen. Now, here's the thing. I'm not blaming Evolve or Gabe Sapolsky. They have for years been saying they've been wanting to be on the WWE Network. They wanted a special event on the WWE Network. I think Gabe Sapolsky, I don't know, probably didn't like it that he was basically being used by Vince to counteract a charity show. Like, I couldn't watch Evolve, that show. Like, I could have, I have the network, but I just couldn't bring myself to watch it for a while because of the circumstances surrounding this clear internal politics in WWE. And I was disgusted a bit because, like, Vince, okay, even for all the jokes they do, all the humor that WWE likes to do, yes, yes, it's annoying at times. It's funny, but it can get annoying when they overuse it. But Vince, they were perfectly content. I believe this. They were perfectly content on it focusing on themselves with the humorous shots on the side. And Vince wants to start something. And of course, he gets his way now because NXT's moving to the USA Network because yippee! We get 2 hours of NXT and hopefully it will still be run by Triple H, but I have my doubts about it because it's Vince McMahon and his ego can't allow other companies to succeed or else his monopoly falls. Yay. But anyways, AEW has this event that is basically promoting charity, and Kenny Omega loudly on Twitter very vocally said some stuff about WWE. He didn't mention them by name, but everyone knew what he was talking about how, dude, we are promoting a show of against gun violence, a charity event. Meanwhile, you got another company going ahead trying to counter-program this and turn it into a competition that also accepts blood money. And I was like, oh boy. And for some reason, this pissed a lot of people off for Kenny Omega basically speaking the truth. Like, he has since deleted those tweets and has apologized for them. But I'm pretty certain this did not shut up what he believed was right because, yeah, this was kind of disgusting how WWE was like, we have to destroy our enemies. We can't let them do a charity event without competition being brought up. Like, I get what was going on. That's, like I said, this was planned months ago. This event was planned months ago. Evo was probably on the last thing on Vince's mind. He could do another pay-per-view event just less than 24 hours before Extreme Rules, or else no one would be interested in Brock Lesnar becoming Universal Champion for a month. Yippee. So, yeah, enough of my ranting on that because I'm still disgusted by that tactic. Let's move on to the actual event itself. Now we got Sonny Kiss and versus the librarian Peter Avalon with the co-librarian Levy Bates, aka Blue Pants. Yeah, I bet how Triple H feels about that lately. Okay, so here's the thing about the librarian gimmick. Ideally, the librarian gimmick could be a good idea if they did the way that I was thinking they were going to do. I thought that this would be a brilliant idea, that they would use this as a part of an ongoing insult to WWE's obsessive retcon problem, where they alter the history of the company and wrestling as a whole and say, oh, this event, it didn't go like this. This is how it went. Yeah, I know there's video evidence that says otherwise, but the Vince has no memory of that, so clearly that means it doesn't matter. Like, that's how I thought the librarian gimmick was going to be. Like, sorry. Like, I thought the librarian gimmick was going to be like this idea where there are two librarians chatting up and up and up, and one is giving logic and bringing up past continuity, whereas this other librarian that's a corporate stooge is told rewrite the history and rewrite the books in order to get a certain agenda out. But sadly, that's not what it's doing. Instead, it's doing the whole instead of actually being, an actual parody they could have went with. Like, I know some people have expressed that, yeah, they don't like the humor, the shots they take at WWE, but, like, really? There's nothing the worst they could do. Like, let's see, how many times has WWE taken shots at WCW, or taken shots at the original ECW, or any company in existence that has dare the balls to go up against Vince. Like, it's not like them mocking WWE's very well-known shady practices. That's fine for me. That could be fun of all hell. Yes, it could get annoying, but that's because they overuse it. But it's understandable they would use this as humor attacks because, let's be real, who is really like? Does anyone even like when WWE does any of these changes when they say, "Oh, we have over 100,000 fans in attendance"? Sir, there's like 99.9 thousand fans. You lie. Or when they go ahead and over and over and over try to insert things that make no sense or contradict everything. Come on, like, or when they go ahead and have WWE grown wrestlers mock WCW wrestlers, say y'all losers, that y'all came from a place that was a dump, or how it never made you a star and here you're nobody. Or how when they go ahead and say, like, all you did was go and party in Japan and ripped people off. Like, you mean to tell me everyone is just okay with that? And when AEW comes in and says, hey, can we take a shot at these guys and we parodize them? Boo! Boo! Like, I must remember, they haven't done a promo where they go ahead and imply racism with Booker T and Triple H. Yeah, I had seen that promo and that's still freaking uncomfortable. But yeah, enough about that. But the librarian stuff, it's not working if it doesn't do this idea that I thought would work. And lately AEW's been pressured by fans to like stop this. Like it's not working. It was starting out good. Like you could get heat if you like like the only way this could probably work now is if you decided, with a clear conscience, decide to have the librarians come in, hold a whole bunch of comic books, graphic novels of some of the best works imaginable, and of them being the original versions, or at least how you present it, and set them on fire to get a reaction from the fans. That's the only way I see that working out. And they've already mocked comic fans for saying it doesn't count. So, yeah. Anyways, Sunny Kiss, like, this was, an okay match. It was the buy-in show, so I'm not expecting 5-star uber classics. Like, at least I'm seeing an attempt here. And, yeah, Peter Avalon is pretty good in the ring, but it's just his gimmick's not working as it should be, at least in my opinion. And, yeah, it was an okay matchup. Like, Sunny Kiss is pretty good in the ring, and fans are chanting, "Reading sucks! Reading sucks! Unless it's comic books!" Yeah, I fell asleep when I read a plain book, so, back in school, so, there's that. But really, the big talk of the show is Cody Rhodes versus the Brotherhood, aka the Rose Brothers, versus the Young Bucks. I need my older brother. Yeah, that was hilarious when the Young Bucks did that. Oh, man. Oh, man, but, like, yeah. But, yeah, they go ahead and have this interview and how they're giving back to the victims of gun violence and say you could be happier to give back to the community that needs it. Yeah. Too bad WWE doesn't think that and want to be petty. So basically the style that Cody and Dustin say they intend to bring into that match against the Young Bucks is old school style, whereas the Young Bucks intend to bring the bigger, the more flashy style and whatnot. And Cody said he wouldn't be here if he wasn't 100% following that chair shot incident with Shawn Spears. And I'm glad they're not ignoring what happened in that event. Like they're probably never going to do another chair shot like that again. Or at least next time make certain the timing's better, because I said this in the podcast and the Firefest video that the reason why Cody didn't get a concussion, like the chair shot was protected. It was gimmicked. It's just the chair shot's folding part bent and scraped the back of his head. So that's clearly where the injury happened. But the chair shot did go as planned, except the chair unexpectedly bent and cut the back of Cody's head, and some skin fell off. Yeah. So now we get to Britt Baker and Rio versus Brie Priestley, and I can't pronounce her name. Yeah, you see, this match was going somewhere, and then something happened in this match. Britt Baker received a major concussion. Like, during the match, she forgot where she was supposed to be. Her tag team partner, she ran all the way to one side to reach her partner, but it was the opposite team. And then she ran back, and she was pretty much out for the rest of the match. And yeah, they were clearly trying to make this work. And yeah, they couldn't make it work. It turned into a glorified handicap match after that. Like, Britt Baker was trying to make this work. And now it's been said, I don't know what's going on with her now, but she was reported to have a serious concussion. So yeah, the match kind of was ruined a little bit when that happened, because this was being a good women's tag team match, but then this happened, and you just start getting concerned. Like, I'm worried about Britt Baker. We should probably do something about it. And she tried to finish the match, but she clearly was not upstairs. She was clearly out of it. So the fact Rio had to carry this match by herself against two other people, I was like, yeah, she's screwed. So yeah, then we cut to the interview with Kip Sabian, and talking about how he's ready to fight Adam Page in a matchup tonight, and he's excited, hyped up, and says he doesn't have animosity towards him, but him being involved with the Elite, he's kind of just handed things. And I was waiting for when they did the storyline, if they do a storyline with the Elite are running the company, so really the wrestlers probably would feel screwed over a storyline. Like, I'm not saying they do in real life. We're not sure about that yet. I don't know if their egos have grown that big yet. Like, yeah, I'm sure there is an ego there, but not the Barry type ego. Like I heard in an interview that the Lucha Bros did say, yeah, we wanted to lose to the Young Bucks. That was our call. So yeah, and then they won it back at the AAA event. So yeah, that kind of got confusing. But yeah, it was said the Lucha Bros asked to lose this match. They wanted to lose the match, and even though in all logic, it probably would have made more sense if they won the match and retained and won back their tag team titles, then had a second match at All Out, where they would do the ladder match. I'll get to that in a moment. And then we get to a match that I was really worried about, the opening match. MJF, Shawn Spears, and Sammy Guevara versus Joey Janelle, Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc. So basically what you just said is that MJF and Shawn Spears, two people who clearly don't like each other, because MJF is buddies with Cody Rhodes and was out there helping him out when Cody got hit in the head and was bleeding profusely. And you got Shawn Spears working together. And I was worried, like, oh dear God, are they going to really do a retcon where they act like that didn't happen? Luckily, they didn't do that. In fact, I was surprised they didn't do a betrayal part in the match. Instead, they just had MJF and Shawn Spears just not cooperate. Like, good. And Joey Janelle, Darby Allin, and Jimmy Havoc? Yeah, you might as well just say, hey, let's get Jon Moxley here and have him and have them all just blow each other up with C4. Because that's basically what they were calling for, because you have three of the four most destructive wrestlers right now in terms of hardcore style, and are willing to do whatever it takes to steal the show in one ring. You might as well just say, let's get Jon Moxley and bring in C4. but John Moxley not being on the show was disappointing, but it was at least understandable why, because he was in Japan doing the G1 Climax and doing some other stuff around the show. And right now, sadly, John Moxley has a staph infection in his elbow and cannot do All Out like everyone was hoping for. And now we get Pac at least, but I wish it was under better circumstances. I'll talk about that when I get to All Out. But, yeah. The 6-man tag team match was pretty good for what it was. I was thinking they were going to have Shawn Spears and MJF implode, but they never did do that. I was generally surprised by that. And, yeah. But yeah, during this match, there's a moment where I think it was Guevara, or Joey Janelle that yells out and flips off to the camera, yelling out "F you, Cornette," because Jim Cornette lately has been kind of getting people pissed off. I'm not going to cover those stuff because I am not interested in that, and mostly because it's freaking disturbing. Mostly involves threatening to go to someone's house and beat the crap out of them. And shaming somebody. Among other things. Yeah, let's move on. Shawn Spears eventually comes in. And here's the thing. Like I said, I was honestly expecting Shawn Spears, MJF, and Sammy Guevara to lose this match against the Hardcore Trio, because that's what they were. And Joey Janelle once more proves to everyone why he is freaking insane and needs to be locked up in a mental asylum when he tries to basically go ahead and do more sick, crazy bumps. Like a Death Valley driver on the apron, or when Darby Allin went ahead and did a coffin drop on the apron. So yeah, that happened, and I was expecting the implosion to happen, but that never came. Instead, Shawn Spears does a neckbreaker on Darby Allin with a big Death Valley driver cover, and gets the 1-2-3, and his team wins. And Shawn Spears gives the 10 taunt to the crowd, and then eyes MJF, who looked like he was going to try and attack Spears, but then when he saw that, MJF just backed off. And then we get Shad Khan. And Private Party shown in the crowd. Jabelli is sitting next to them. And then security tells him that it's a private party and gets kicked out. And then we get to a match that people kind of hate. Because it's Brandy Rose versus Allin. And people lately are becoming sour on Brandy Rose, thinking she's just another Stephanie McMahon. Here's my thoughts about this, and I can understand why people say that, because they've already had to deal with Stephanie McMahon hogging the spotlight and saying, "I created women's wrestling!" In fact, even when she joked about her inserting herself into the Triple Threat main event, everyone hated hearing that, because they knew she would, because people suspected she would try and do something like that. In fact, one of the original plans for WrestleMania's ending was to have Stephanie McMahon come out with the rest of the women's locker room. She goes into the ring and she embraces with Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch after Becky wins the match, and they have this emotional celebration. And I was like, Stephanie, for all intents and purposes, you basically contributed to nothing to this division. What? Because because the last time you wrestled, you were beaten up by your dad, and it was a brutal intergender match. Yeah, I don't see how that was revolutionary other than brutality, but that's beside the point. And then people now start looking at Brandy Rhodes doing basically the same thing, except here's the difference with Brandy Rhodes and Stephanie McMahon. Now, I am all for giving AEW much criticism. I gave them criticism for Firefest, and I'll give them criticism for later in the night. But Brandy Rhodes isn't trying to be Stephanie. Oh yeah, she's the chief brand officer and whatnot. She's in a position of power, and she could really do this. But Brandy took a thumbtack bump. She does get herself involved in the ring longer than Stephanie has done in the ring. She clearly is passionate about this industry and doesn't want to hog the spotlight for herself. She'll tease that she'll do it, but not really do it. In fact, match was planned months in advance that they wanted to do this match. And Brandy Rose clearly shows she doesn't just want to be seen as Cody's wife, or as Stephanie McMahon seems content to be Vince's little girl and Vince's princess and Triple H's wife. At least that's the vibe I get, whereas Stephanie McMahon, she's thinking she's the pioneer of women's wrestling. Ugh. But yeah, Brandy Rhodes, she's not like Stephanie in that regard. Like, Brandy will take bumps. She will put herself in harm's way for the betterment of the show. Like, she will humiliate herself even, like how during the Cody Rhodes Dustin Rhodes match, when she speared Dustin, she got thrown out and had to be carried while she just slammed her fist on the back of DDP, which was hilarious. So clearly she's willing to go through that. Go through public character humiliation just for the betterment of the show, so she's clearly willing to take bumps. Or that time when Nick Aldis went ahead and did a diving elbow drop and he slammed it down on Brandy Rhodes protecting her husband. So, do you really honestly imagine Stephanie McMahon now doing that? Heck, I don't even think she did that back then. Like, yeah, she got beat up a lot by the wrestlers. Even Triple H pedigreed her. But not really go ahead and put her body to protect her husband or, go through thumbtacks. Yeah. So, yeah, well, I wasn't expecting the greatest women's wrestling match. Like, they weren't really going to make a great match out of this. In fact, they had to bring Awesome Kong here to basically serve as her enforcer. So at least they're giving her more motivation for her character as opposed to Stephanie, who will just do whatever she pleases. And here's the thing, Brandy Rose does psychological warfare. Like, she tried to look like this sympathetic character only to reveal that but then, like, it's revealed that part of it was a ruse because she brings out Awesome Kong. So, clearly, Brandy is the psychological manipulator and evil, psychotic, what's that word I'm looking for? It starts with a B. Oh, wait, I think I know what it is. I'll get to that. It starts with a B. Yeah, but, yeah, so Ali Impact, who I must confirm has been killed off in Impact Wrestling in a very surreal fashion. That was a weird yet funny angle. Also emotionally entertaining. But yeah, Brandy Rhodes with Awesome Kong's help basically gets herself the victory, and then Brandy and Awesome Kong proceed to attack Ali, and then Aji Kong's music hit, and that stabs Brandy and Awesome Kong. Brandy bails out, and Aja and Awesome stare at each other in the middle of the ring. And if I recall, Aja is Awesome Kong's former tag team partner in some Japanese wrestling promotion. I could be wrong there, or my thing is someone else. But yeah, they were a tag team, I think, in Japan. Not New Japan. They don't have a women's division. It was another wrestling company in Japan. I can't remember, but they did win the tag team titles there. I don't remember. Yeah. So then we get to the Dark Order versus Jack Evans and Angelico and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt. Winner advances to All Out for an opportunity at a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament, which will begin on the second edition of AEW on TNT. Whoa! And the crowd very much loves Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And oh boy, this was the match that I was on the gripping of my seat and on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, I can't tell who's gonna win. I really can't tell who's gonna win. But this was awesome. this was my third favorite match of the night. There were two matches that I felt topped it. One was obvious, the other one was unexpected. But yeah, this was a pretty great match. Everyone was very into this. The crowd was into it. They were doing people throwing each other left and right. I loved every minute of it, and I was expecting the Dark Order to win because the best friends are in the match at All Out, so it was kind of inevitable. But at least they're making a stake to this. They're not just instantly say, okay, we got these two guys feuding, let's just put them in a match on pay-per-view with no stakes. Oh, no. No. After that, we're going to do two separate big matches on pay-per-view. We're going to have them not fight each other yet. Then go ahead and have the culmination piece be at a big pay-per-view event where we give a stake on it. Let's do it. And it's a first round bye to the tag team tournaments to give you guys an easy advantage over the next competitors who will have wear and tear. Whoa. So yeah, ultimately the Dark Order wins as everyone expected, and now they had to fight the best friends to get the chance to get the first round bye in the AEW tag team tournament. The Young Bucks have confirmed they're also going to be in the tournament, so that's going to be exciting. But now, we get to the second best match of the night, in my opinion. Hangman Adam Page versus Kip Sabian. Oh, God. Oh, man. This was the match I was also on the edge of my seat for, because I wholeheartedly knew Adam Page was going to win. I knew he was going to win, but when they got to that 19-minute mark, and I was like, wait, could this actually end in a draw? Because AEW has a different structure. They have a 20-minute to 30-minute draws period, or a 60-minute when it's necessary for big-time main event matches. But when I saw this, I was thinking, wait, we're at the 19-minute mark? Wait, this could actually end in a draw? Like, that was when I was gripping my seat because, like, wait, we could actually get a draw out of this? Like, Darby Allin Cody, I get, but Adam Page, who has a big world title match, is going to take a draw with Kip Sabian? That's pretty interesting. And there was a fan in the middle of the match getting all angry and screaming at Kip Sabian, so he decides Kip Sabian must do the logical thing. Oh, not the beat the holy crap out of them. That would have been much more entertaining, because when the fan's being this disrespectful, so long as the fan's not trying to attack him, that's one thing. But instead, Kip Sabian does the second best thing. It just kisses him on the lips. And the fan immediately reels in disgust. Okay, at least the wrestlers are doing something to these people whenever they're this disrespectful and trying to get involved in the show. Granted, it's not as famous as Triple H beating the crap out of a fan attacking Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I'll take it. At least there's something the wrestlers are doing to try and shut the psychopaths up. Whereas WWE's like, don't do anything. I know you should protect your fellow wrestlers and preserve and have self-preservation, but we'll let security do it, even though they should have done something sooner. And we'll punish anyone who dares fight back. Look what we did to the Revival after they sucker punched that guy that attacked Bret Hart. Yeah, they still don't get respect from Vince even after they did something that everyone was proud of them for doing. Even Bret Hart seemed glad they did that. So yeah, this match was pretty freaking awesome. I was honestly expecting, I was really thinking this match was going to go to a draw, and Ballsly Hangman Page gets the victory. I was a little surprised, especially considering after the match, one of the Dark Order's creepers come out, which is Chris Jericho, beating the heck out of Adam Page and hits the Cobra Girl. Like, I was thinking, like, wait, so if Chris Jericho was going to do that, why didn't he do that before the match ended? Wouldn't that make more sense? And then Jericho hits the Judas Effect elbow on Page, and he drops instantly, and Page is busted open over his eye, so yeah. And then everyone was chanting, "Thank you, Jericho! Thank you, Jericho!" And Jericho's response was this: I demand a thank you, but still shut up. But, yeah, that clearly was logical. Now we get to Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix versus Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian with Christopher Daniels of the SoCal Uncensored group. And I'm wearing their shirt. This is the worst town I've ever been to. SoCal Uncensored. But yeah, I was looking at this match and I was thinking, oh, this could be a pretty good match. Also, it's tragic considering that when you think about it, yeah, ROH kind of really lost out big time with all these people. Like, their latest show unfortunately drew 400 people, which shows this rapid decline in 1 year. Like, the signs were already there long before, but when Kenny left, when Cody left, when the Elite left, and all they had was Marty Scurll remaining, and he's rumored to be leaving in November, and then the NWA broke decided to signal out their deal, and New Japan's starting to become a little bit sour with ROH's current status. I don't think ROH is going to last much longer. I give it about a year or two at this rate if they keep going with the current management. So, I really do hope we see Bandito in AEW soon. So, moving on from that, Pentagon Jr. and SoCal Uncensored fight. It's pretty good. It was what you would expect. And given how the circumstances surrounding their current feud with the Young Bucks, it was kind of inevitable this would lead to another match between them at All Out. And sure enough, we get a declaration where they say that they are the best tag team on the planet, the Lucha Bros, and they have a matches for the Young Bucks. A ladder match in Chicago at All Out. Yes. So now we get to the best match of the night. The best match of the night. Kenny Omega versus Sima. I'm pretty sure I failed at pronouncing his name correctly. And yeah, everyone was hoping for this match to really bring about momentum for Kenny Omega in terms because throughout his entire time so far in AEW, he's, except for even Double or Nothing, he wasn't really being the best bout machine that we remember him being in New Japan and even All In, because he wasn't really being that. Yeah, he was trying to be that, but he was wearing Sword Art Online gear, so that was fun. But then he was doing this comedic route for the next event, and people were kind of like, we want to see the best bout machine. Can we get the best bout machine? But we were not disappointed. Kenny Omega, the best bout machine, returned to action and went to war with Shima. And they tore the house down. They were tearing it apart. They said this was their first encounter ever, I believe. So that's saying something. And yeah, I loved every moment of it. I was like, this is the Kenny Omega these fans need to see. The best bout machine, the one-winged angel, damn it. Yeah, his match with Jericho was disappointing, but that wasn't really Kenny's fault. It was Jericho. It was, it's age. Jericho can't control it, and he can't do the level that he could do, 5 years ago. He has to change to the brawling style, and the only reason he got a 5-star match because Kenny Omega managed to carry him, and they had the no DQ stipulation at Wrestle Kingdom. That really protected Jericho and allowed him to utilize some innovative styles with the weaponry he was given. So clearly, and they had a really good story going on. But yeah, that was clearly the reason why that match was such a classic in Wrestle Kingdom, whereas it wasn't in Double or Nothing, because Jericho's not at that level anymore where he could do these insane bumps, where he could take a fall off of a ladder or to do a crazy dive. But yeah, so yeah, Chris Jericho. So anyway, moving on from Chris Jericho into later on in the night, Kenny Omega and Shima are tearing it down. We get that running V trigger because Kenny loves doing the knee trigger stuff, V trigger, because concussions aren't a problem. Like when he does it like 500 times. Yeah, like when the Young Bucks do the super kicks, people get that annoyed, but when Kenny Omega does the V trigger, everyone's all. Except I'm like, okay, he does it as much as the Young Bucks do the super kicks. And that's saying something. Like, their combined total probably outbeats Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, uh, Fandango, Tyler Breeze. My God, there are way too many people doing the super kick. It's just short timing. But moving on. Anyways, Kenny Omega, unsurprisingly, gets the victory after landing another V trigger and gets the one winged angel, and Kenny Omega wins. And following that, Kenny Omega is ready for his fight against Jon Moxley. That unfortunately will not happen anytime soon until Jon Moxley recovers from his injuries. Oh. Well, we got Pac at least, so that's a bonus. And probably a Punk, but that's a hopeful statement. And then we get the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho. He comes out, basically cuts this big promo, and basically says that if he loses to Adam Page, and it will be the end of AEW and the end of Chris Jericho's career. Not really, but you get his motivation and adding a new title belt to his collection. And he's saying belt, so I'm pretty sure Vince is pissed. Somewhere in Connecticut, in Stamford, Vince is currently revolting at Jericho's betrayal. Even though Jericho has no direct loyalty to him in no way, it's just business, but Vince takes it personally. And here's the thing I heard that Chris Jericho cut in an interview after this event. This promo you're seeing, this was his first unscripted promo in 20 years. So heading out there, Chris Jericho had a plan in his head, but was never written down or he come up with the idea. He was basically saying, okay, I'm basically given a free mic and I can say whatever I want to promote this match. Okay, so I'm doing a somewhat bullet point list, but I can say whatever I want to get to that point. Okay. And Jericho went out and cut the first promo he has ever cut, unscripted, in 20 years. Okay, question. You mean to tell me that during his time WWE, none of his promos were scripted? Like, WCW I got because Jericho was not taken seriously there. Like, he had a window for 30 seconds, and then he was gaining momentum, and then Goldberg bitched about it and complained. But you mean to tell me that in WWE, even in the Attitude Era, he had a script? Like, I'm pretty sure he wrote the script and he went over with WWE Creative, but still. You mean to tell me he just wasn't being himself out there? He had a script laid out for him and he wrote it up? Okay, that's surprising. Like, yeah, he had a lot of he had a lot of input in it because it's just Chris Jericho. So, yeah, that was to be expected. But, yeah, Adam Page attacks, and all hell's ensuing. And, yeah. Ooh, man. So now we get to our main event, the Brotherhood versus the Young Bucks, the tale of family and emotions, and oh my God, what the hell happened with this match? Oh, no, seriously. Everything was formulated, planned out here. Everything was put in place. This was the perfect storm for this match. What the hell happened? Yeah, I'm all for long, epic matches, and this was 31 minutes, but, like, I was thinking, what the hell's going on? This should have ended like 10 minutes ago. No, seriously, that's what I was thinking. Like, this match should have been an epic 20-minute scale battle, maybe an extra 5 minutes at best, but what it just wasn't clicking with me in the last half. Like, something was missing there. And, like, I was surprised that the Young Bucks won. You would think the Brotherhood would win because, well, it's Cody Rhodes and Dustin and they want to finish their story off. But, yeah, I was surprised at how I just wasn't emotionally invested as I should have been. Like, I think they were trying to do that old Attitude Era approach where they would prefer, where fans want an engaging story over a big quality matchup and they wanted to tell a story-based match. Okay, I can get that, but it just wasn't clicking with me at that last half. It was starting out good, but then fans were losing interest. Some were leaving because a charity event like that was clearly warranted. But for some reason, it just wasn't clicking with people like it probably should have. And the Young Bucks get the victory, and yeah, a lot of people were happy this ended. And yeah, and here's the thing. Dave Meltzer gave this match a 4-star rating. And I was like, okay, Dave, I know this is your opinion and you're entirely entitled to it. That was 3.5 for me. Like, yeah, a lot of fans were kind of losing interest in this match. Like, Dustin Rhodes clearly still gets it. But yeah, after the match, the Young Bucks are congratulating the Brotherhood and all that, but then they realize that then they realize that it's almost the end of the show and that they're almost out of time. And they reveal that they've raised $150,000 for the victims of gun violence charity stuff they were doing. And then Cody Rhodes cuts this basically militaristic style promo where he's rallying the troops for the war in WWE and the rebirth of wrestling. And, okay, here's the thing. I get the feeling, I get what Cody's trying to do here. He's pissed off at what WWE did with Evolve and counter-programming it. Because that was disturbing that Vince has become so engrossed in his ego that he has to counter-program a charity wrestling event. Besides that. So, yeah, I get that. I'm pretty sure his promo was initially going to just be promoting AEW on TNT and also the charity stuff, but when the whole Evolve thing happened, Cody and a lot of other people were naturally pissed off. And Kenny Omega, because it's a charity event, couldn't do his signature good night, goodbye, and bang! Because it's a show about the victims of gun violence charity event. So they couldn't do that. So he just says, boing! And this led to the worst TV shirt yet thus far in AEW. No, I'm not kidding. They had a shirt for this. I hated it. Like, a lot of people were like, wow, you must have learned this from the WWE school of not giving a care. But here's the thing. I would rather have them make one bad design than have 100 bad designs and one good one. This thing that WWE operates with. But yeah, that was the fatal flaw of the main event. Like, it didn't click at the end. It wasn't clicking in that last half. Cody, like, I don't know what exactly happened. The match being too long, the fans losing interest. I don't know. So, yeah. So yeah, Fight for the Fallen, it wasn't their best event. This was like the weakest of their show so far, but at least they were doing it for a cause and everything. I can give them that. And this was their weakest show thus far, though, compared to, and I still label All In as an AEW event, even though it wasn't an AEW event. So long as when they get the rights eventually over it and they can finally sell it, I'll personally buy it on steel booklet Blu-ray because that would be freaking awesome to add to my collection. Anyways, um, so I bid you all adieu. I'll see you all at All Out. Out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang! Okay, I really butchered that. Sorry. Oh man. So anyways, those were my thoughts on AEW Fight for the Fallen. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more. And I'll see you at AEW All Out. And I got big news ahead of you. I got tickets to the first event in DC. I'm going to be a part of a rebirth in wrestling history, man. I'm hyped.